And last year, LunaSea was one of the many Korean players that used to be regulars in the Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. So we're a little bit biased. Just a little bit of spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Altitude. We have the Chinese Zerg player, the best Zerg player in all of China, representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. It is Silky. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, at one point representing Team Super, now I believe teamless. It is LunaSea. He's crazy. He is wild, and typically LunaSea is a more aggressive player, but if I do reach into my memory banks, into my memory of last year's Sparkling Tuna Cups, it was mainly in PvPs where LunaSea was hyper aggressive and in your face. And I'm really excited to see how LunaSea has adapted over time, how he's been able to, or if he's been able to adopt the hero style of PvZ. How, and if so, how will he be able to execute it? As for the time being, he's forcing the unnatural natural from Silky. He is forcing it over there at that third base location. It's going to still be a hatch gas pool though from Silky, so nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the norm. Oh. He does throw down that spawning pool. For those who may not be too familiar with Silky, again, he is the best, I would say the best Zerg player in all of China. I would say Silky's up there with, I would say top two being Silky and Hyperion, but Hyperion also hasn't competed in a while. For those who are maybe unaware, Hyperion, he was actually the player manager, or the team manager of KaiZ Gaming back in the day. Of course, KaiZ Gaming was eventually acquired by DPG, and now they formed Dragon KaiZ Gaming. And after that acquisition, Hyperion, he did join DPG, or he did join Dragon KaiZ Gaming, but he hasn't been competing. Maybe he's just taking a more administrative role, maybe he's just stepped away from the game, which is a shame because Hyperion was a pretty damn good player, and it was always a treat to cast him, always a treat to watch him. One of those rare instances where the team manager was actually like on par with some of the players. Like it was really damn good at the game. So it's a shame that I don't think I've seen him compete for quite a number of months at this point. Quite a number of months. So in the absence of Hyperion, I do think that Silky has kind of taken the mantle as the #1 Zerg player in China. I think behind him would be Tunming and Moku. Tunming and Moku, I think they're #2 and #3 respectively. But Moku has been doing a lot to improve over time. As LunaSea is not going for a Stargate opener, we have a Twilight Council instead. Let's go. Okay, so I was talking about how he's typically more of an aggressive player, and it looks like that does apply to PvZ as well. We have pulled out a gas. This is looking to be a Glaive Adept opener coming out from LunaSea. There we go. Additional gateways are on the way. Glaive should be commencing soon. The question becomes, how many gateways are we going to be seeing? We're going to see at least 4 as we are setting up for that 4th gateway, but we can double down and we can go up to 6 if we so choose, if you want to go all in. Meanwhile, the Adepts are poking across now. They get a couple of Lings, but nothing too crazy. They're going to be fended off for the time being. As, ooh, a Ling does slip into the main base. LunaSea unfortunately wasn't able to wall off in time, and Silky gets a full scout, gets eyes on every single gateway, gets eyes on the Robo, the Twilight Council, the researching. Silky knows about the Glaives. Immediately, we have a Roach Warren already on the way. We're going to be spreading creep between all these bases. We're going to be cutting workers at around 40, 45 max. We don't want to go more than that, and we should be just continuing Ling and Roach production from that point onward. Now, what's scary is that we have confirmation that it's Glaives, but there could also be a Dark Shrine thrown down alongside this as well. You can just double down and be that much more committed. So Silky has to be prepared for that. That's why a lot of Zerg players, even if they do scout a researching Twilight Council, they will still throw down spores. But Silky is gambling, and no spores are on the way. So he's going to be cutting some corners here, and it is going to work out for him. As there we go, we're cutting workers at 37. A little bit early on, but Silky is taking this very seriously. Queens being brought to the front lines. Roaches on the way. The Adepts do rock up. They're going to be able to focus down. No, they don't quite get the Queen. They get completely surrounded. A good chunk of Adepts do go down, but they commit to the Shade. They do dive into the main base. At the same time, the Prism is looking for another warp in. Is looking for another way. There we go. To have that warp in into the main base. Decent positioning with these Adepts as they do once again manage to escape. We have another wave of Adepts slipping on forward. But we haven't really dealt too much economic damage. One drone has gone down, and one drone is not enough. We're going to be rotating over towards the third, but the Queens do hold the line. They have enough energy to transfuse. They keep each other alive, and LunaSea is transitioning back at home. We have an Immortal in production. So the goal of the Immortal is to make sure you don't die to the Roach counterattack. At this point, it looks like LunaSea has recognized he cannot end the game. Does get another 4 drones. Not bad. But we are running out of steam. And you can see Silky feels confident enough that he can drone. We have workers on the way. Silky has the map control. He's pushing out across the map instantly, and LunaSea's going to be stuck on 2 bases. I don't see a world where LunaSea can expand and take a third anytime soon. Oh my god, as we even do catch up with these Adepts, 2 of the Adepts do go down. Even more value here from Silky. And from this point, we can just continue to drone. Like, this was pretty committed from LunaSea, and he wasn't able to end the game. It looks like he doesn't intend to take a third, though. He may be going for a follow-up 2-base all-in. Yep, there we go. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. So we're just going to be moving out with 2 Immortals and a mass amount of Adepts. One way or another, the game will end. Either Silky gets broken, or LunaSea breaks himself upon the wall that is Silky. Bailings being morphed in. Oh my god. We don't have too many Ravagers. We don't have too many Roaches. Plenty of Adepts, but those Bailings will change everything. They are going to deny that Shade. Adepts do cancel. They are going to be headed towards that third base. Bailings are rolling on in, and it looks like they're looking for those connections. They will connect with those Adepts. Immortals are saved by the Prism, and it looks like the Adepts are going to try to get into a middle line, but no. They're getting surrounded. They're getting cleaned up. Up! Oh. And with the lack of attention, LunaSea even loses both Immortals. With that, Silky completely cleans them up, and now he's going for a massive counterattack. What do we have at home to defend? We have a handful of Adepts. We have that third base. How do we hold on to it? How do we hold on to this base? We have Disruptor, which will help. But how much can one Disruptor do? Quite a lot. To be fair, Disruptors can do a lot. There we go. We force a cancel at the third base. Behind this, Silky working on a 4th, saturating his 3rd. I love it. There's no need to force the issue. There's no need to try to break the natural base at this point. Just get further ahead. Focus on your economy. Focus on your tech. Lair is now on the way. The Lair has been delayed by quite a bit just because of all the Adept aggression. Got +1 melee. Taking our gases, and yeah, things are looking pretty good here for Silky. LunaSea, how do we come back in this game? Either we play Hyper Turtle, we just turtle on up, we just erect all of the walls that we can, and just focus on Disruptors. Otherwise, we could try and go for an all-in, maybe fake out the third, maybe not saturate it that much, and just focus on moving out with like maybe 4 Disruptors. Of course, it's going to be risky, but Silky is in a really bad position. Like, he is behind. Going all in or being like hyper defensive or hyper greedy is a way to come back. I would probably say, actually, Disruptor drops. If we invest into Prism speed, I do think that Disruptor drops could be a good way to get some secure amount of damage. There's not that much anti-air here. There are Lings, but not too many Roaches. I do think that something like Disruptor drops, it's not a secure way to come back in this game, but it could help. You know, there could be a moment where he lands a detonation on the army in the mineral line. Of course, the downside of that is that if you do go for a Disruptor drop across the map, that could just trigger Silky to counterattack, because he knows that suddenly your ground army is that much weaker, suddenly your third base is that much more vulnerable. as LunaSea is going to be moving out. Now, there's not that much creep spread, so thankfully he doesn't have to worry too much about being caught too heavily out of position. A couple of Deps are going to be shading into that third base. Oh, but the Lings are here to respond. At the same time, we are going to be pushing on 4. Nova goes off on 3 of those Banelings. Not bad, but we still have so many more Banelings where that came from. Oh god! A massive connection of the Banelings and the Ravagers, but the Disruptors get surrounded! No! There was one good Nova, but we had an even better surround. Disruptor count gets completely reset. That was almost the moment. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have Adepts shading into that third base. We have Adepts towards the natural as well. LunaSea trying to be everywhere at once, but is maybe spreading himself too far thin. And with that, Silky is able to maintain his economic position. 80 workers already out here for Silky. Hive on the way. At this point, we could look to max out on Ling Roach Ravager. It looks like that's what we should be doing. Or Ling Bane Roach Ravager even. LunaSea still trying to be as active as possible. Losing all those disruptors. How much was that? 5 disruptors. Ay, ay, ay. For 1 Nova. Not ideal, Papi. Not ideal. You could argue with, hey, with those 5 disruptors, he maybe could have broken this hatchery and gone toe-to-toe with the army as well. Alas, the prison harass doesn't really get too much done. LunaSea is just trying to build up back at home. And he's giving Silky so much freedom as a result to just saturate these bases. Remax, Hive, almost done. Oh god, that's a lot of Banelings. That's 41 Banelings! 41 Banelings in production. This is enough to not just kill the mineral line, but also the base itself. Now, there's also a low supply that's not going to be back at home to defend. Bear that in mind. The Depths are going to be denying vision, denying mining. Do you see the 4th base going down at the same time? The Baileys in roll on in, and oh my god. Protoss players, look away. As we just delete the Nexus, and we have more than enough to just keep on rolling in. No, the wall's not a wall! The wall is not a wall. The Stalker tries to blink in time, but no. Isn't able to do so. 2nd mineral line goes down, and we want some more. We're going for a 3rd mineral line. Because why not? We're going to have even more after this, I think. Not like this. The Banelings finally get cleaned up. 47 probes go down alongside the 3rd base. And if there was any chance, any hope that LunaSea would be able to come back in this game, it's not there anymore. It's less not anymore, Poppy. Not with 28 workers. Silky's up to 90 drones, by the way. 90 drones. Vipers in production. Are Vipers necessary? Not really. I mean, they're gonna help. We can yoink the Disruptors. The Disruptors are really the only scary thing that LunaSea has right now, and he's only got 2 of them. I've got 3 Vipers on the way. So once the Vipers do pop, there won't be anything stopping Silky from just advancing on across the map. So there we go, the Vipers have arrived. Behind this, working towards a Templar Archives to Storm for Archons, which again, these are good things. If only we had an economy that could sustain it. If only. Oh, we're doing it again. This time less, this time 39 Banelings. They're going to be able to take down the cannon, I guess. Yeah, cannon. Shield battery, pylon. I won't be able to get too much more, but it's distracting the army as the Lings do rush in towards that new 3rd base. Disruptors are waiting behind this, but the Nexus is going to go down. Novas go off, just shaving away at the army. No major connections. LunaSea stuck, contained to 2 bases, and at this point, LunaSea is huffing deep that copium. We have a Greater Spire on the way for Silky. Just get further ahead, working towards Broodlords. Do we need them? I didn't. Where are the Vipers, by the way? What happened? Vipers are just chilling. You know, we could have maybe broken LunaSea with these Vipers, but we're just gonna, yeah, you know, they're just on break. It's all good. Don't rush them. Don't rush them. As they do suck it down that hatchery. Sucking it down. More Bailings on the way. There is a wall this time, so once again, I do think this is a little bit wasteful, but we're maxed out at this point. Doesn't matter too much. I love it when that happens, by the way. Fun fact, it takes less Bailings to kill a gateway than it does a Stalker. But just because of the splash damage, to be fair. So the gateway went down first, then the Stalker, then the other gateway. Aye. Just because of the reduced service area, I should say, of the Stalker. Oh. As we do manage to shut down that Prism. Prism does fall, and yeah, with this, Silky should be looking to roll on in with Ling Bane. I don't think we need to wait for Broodlords. Papi, I don't think we need to. We really don't. But I guess we will. And with all these Archons, like maybe we do. With this army, maybe we do need those Broodlords. Now that I think about it, especially with how Ling heavy we are. Yeah, I probably do. God damn it. As LunaSea is attempting to resaturate this third base. There we go. The first two Broodlords are on the way. I guess the other thing that we're maybe hoping for is, this is a bit of a mistake from LunaSea. We're pushing out. Clearing up creep is okay, but oh god, we're not stopping. We are just continuing to move out across the map. We are very vulnerable to a surround, and it looks like, okay, LunaSea is going to back off. At the same time, Link counterattack's going to be hitting that third base, and once again, there is not enough here to defend. Army out of position. And Silky is looking for a fight. Does isolate one of those Archons. He will take down this Nexus. There have been times, there are clips out there. There are times where Bailing busts have happened at a wall like this, and both gateways die and the Stalker survives. It's hard. As a Zerg player, it's heartbreaking whenever that happens. I was kind of hoping we would see it here again, but alas. Silky does back off. We do see the Stalker Archon army pushing on forward. Hatchery goes down. Silky just buying time for more Broodlords. Just, yeah, going for that secure win. Up. We do get the Stalker. Let's go. And we even get into the mineral line. Let's go. We're doing this, by the way. LunaSea, he is crazy. He's a lunatic for a reason. He's gonna be pushing on forward. One last ditch effort. I can't imagine the game progressing after this fight. Unless he recalls, I guess. We blink on forward onto the Broodlords, and we have Blinding Clouds. The Stalkers, they can't do much of anything. Nova goes off. We'll connect on a Queen. But last takes 2 Novas to kill a Queen, so we will be able to stand strong from here. And you know what? LunaSea, he sees this army. He's like, I got this. I just need to avoid the army. You're not wrong. Not wrong, Papi. As Disruptor goes down. And yeah, we're just going to be microing our heart out with these last handful units. GG gets called. And Silky will take game number 1. GG. It was rough at the gates. For those that may be tuning in like halfway through, this did start with LunaSea going for a 4-gate Glaive Adept opener, which did no damage, into a 2-base all-in with Glaives and Immortals, which also didn't do much economic damage. So from the get-go, LunaSea was playing from behind after the failed all-in, and things just, yeah, I mean, Silky just held on to that lead. And thankfully, you know, because of how long the game went, we were able to see moments like the mass amount of Bailings killing bases and killing mineral lines. Yeah. GG. GG, well played. Silky will take game number 1, and now we're going to be diving into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. It reminds me of Heavenly Wang. It does. It does. Fun fact: when we went to Singapore, it's in the airport of Singapore. There is a restaurant. I say a restaurant. It's a cafe called Heavenly Wang. And I remember coming off the plane and seeing that. I was like, what is happening right now? Where am I? Yaku explain. Yaku could not explain. He could not explain. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the Chinese Zerg player representing Starlight? Sorry. The Starving Camels as this LT. It is Silky. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing himself and used to represent Team Super. It is LunaSea. Oh, let's go, puppy. Let's go. Silky, he wants to. He is upset. He's like, mate, you had me trapped on altitude for far too long. I'm gonna end this. The proxy hatch is upon us, and LunaSea has no idea. So, fun fact: when it comes to if you're a Zerg player out there that wants to experiment a little bit, proxy hatches like this are typically done on maps like Gresvan, maps like Royal Blood, maps where there is no ramp coming into the natural. So you don't have to deal with any kind of high ground vision and getting high ground vision, all that good stuff. Maps especially like Gresvan, where the opening to the natural is so large. Like these builds can do so well here, and that's why we've seen Dark take down Hero, we've seen Dark take down Classic. Dark does this every now and then on maps like Gresvan to great effect. Boys are being pulled to throw down those mine crawlers. They are going to be spotted, and that will trigger LunaSea to scout, and he does confirm the hatchery. LunaSea sees it coming ahead of time. Does he know how to respond? This is not a very common build, and typically we need a forge. We need a forge for cannons because we have, as a Protoss player, you have very limited production. You have very limited units available to you at the early game. So getting a forge, getting cannons, getting shield batteries, and buying time for your Immortal and your Robo, or Void Ray if you're going for a Stargate, either or, is pretty crucial. And LunaSea is gonna be, oh, this is not good. LunaSea waits for the Cyber Core, doesn't throw down the forge, and throws down a Robo at the natural. This Robo is very exposed. The likelihood of this Robo finishing and the Immortal coming out is pretty low, but we do see the Zelta coming out. We do cancel the first Spine Crawler. Queen is on the way, Lings as well. Can Silky keep these spines alive? If he can, I do think that Silky can straight up win this game, but it's going to be close as we only have one Spine Crawler. There we go, second Spine Crawler on the way. Zelta being forced back, Lings are flooding on in. And yeah, these Zelts are going to be going down. We do have a Stalker on the way, but the Adept is getting caught out as well. The shield battery isn't done. It's not done. It's trapped. Adept falls. We have a Robo. It's being chronoed. But again, these Spine Crawlers should be coming forward, and they should be focusing down either the Robo or the Pylon. Or anything else. First shield battery will fall. Yeah, the Robo is being focused down. Typically, we throw down the Robo here in the main. It needs to be safe. It needs to be tucked away because that Immortal is so crucial to the defense, and it's not going to finish. Robo does go down. With the death of that Robo, that is the end of this game. There's one Stalker left here for LunaSea, and it gets surrounded. GG gets called, and Silky will take the series 2-0. Oh, GG. Bold move by LunaSea. He had the right idea overall, did have the right idea of what he needed, obviously, but the execution was lacking a little bit, and I don't blame LunaSea. I can't imagine you face proxy hatches too often on the ladder, especially at this level of play. So it did look like LunaSea was a little bit out of practice or a little bit inexperienced when it comes to defending against that. Specifically, the positioning of that Robo was very exposed, and yeah, we need to take care of the Robo, Papi. We need to look after it. We need to cherish it. GG. And with that, congratulations. Silky will take the series 2-0, advancing on into the next round. Oh, GG.